The radical left-wing celebrate the murder of the United Healthcare CEO. They're violent revolutionaries, and all it takes is a spark to light the tinderbox of their Marxist brutality. The 1970s was plagued by left-wing political violence and may be coming back. Oh, thank you, Ben Shapiro. I'm sure you have a lot of other important and useful things to say. Let's hear it.
Well, folks, we have updates in the search for the murderer of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. He was assassinated, of course, on Wednesday, and there are some pretty deep ramifications for American society and all this. We'll get to that in a moment. First, time is running out. Daily Wire Plus is 50% off, but not for much longer. Get a full year of uncensored shows, exclusive series, documentaries, and more, all at half the price. Head on over to dailywire.com/cyberweek before it is too late. Alrighty, so
yeah, you guys can go head over to Daily Wire and give the worst person you know money, or you can use your Prime sub here for free and take money from CEOs. You don't actually have to go to the streets and kill people. And I don't recommend it because the chance that you get caught is pretty high, unless I guess you're that guy, unless you're him. But you can use your Prime sub literally for free here.
Wednesday, as we know, the United Health executive, Brian Thompson, was shot to death on the streets of New York. Authorities are still searching for the suspect at this point, according to the Wall Street Journal. Police are combing New York City for the suspect who used a Sharpie to write "deny, defend, and depose" on cartridges that are believed to have come out of his gun when it jammed, according to law enforcement officials. Some of those words are commonly associated with tactics insurers use to avoid paying claims. Investigators believe that the suspect may be staying or may have stayed at a hostel on Manhattan's Upper West Side.
It was a Sharpie,
The NYPD
yeah.
hasn't publicly identified the person who ambushed Brian Thompson. However, they have released an image of the person, quote unquote, wanted for questioning. They released his face. He's smiling and wearing a hood in one of the photos as he appears to lean on a counter. Authorities are offering up a reward of up to 10 grand for information leading to an arrest.
Does he think that casings only come out if a
This is
gun
super
jams?
important, amazingly important. But first, here's a wonderful product I want to tell you about that I use to clean my balls.
Does he think that the casings of a gun comes when it's jammed?
Sorry, Denims, I'm taking my money over to the Daily Wire.
Why do I, as a leftist, know more about guns than Ben Shapiro, dude? Why is that a reality? I mean, Ben is the guy who went to a Home Depot to buy a 2x4 and put it in a plastic bag. That is true. That's true. You guys have all seen that, right? Ones of you have seen the iconic Ben Shapiro Home Depot clip. Twos of you somehow haven't seen it. Oh my, there's so many people that haven't seen it. Wait, what? You guys are watching this right now.
Here we are at Home Depot. As you know, controversy has now involved Home Depot as people are encouraging people to boycott Home Depot because Home Depot is not getting involved in Georgia's voter.
I love that these fucking conservatives are literally the first people to be like, vote with your dollar. If you don't like a company, don't buy from it. And then the second that leftists are like, let's boycott, they're like, I can't believe you would do that. I'm going to go and buy something right now.
Law controversy, Home Depot is doing exactly the right thing because, after all, they are in fact Home Depot. They are not in fact in the business of politics because you should be buying from companies that are not falling to the woke left. Home Depot, so far, is one of those companies. So here's what we're doing. And I encourage you to do the same. We're going to go in there, I'm going to buy some stuff, and then I'm going to leave. All right, as you can see, I just went shopping at Home Depot. You should do the same. This wood, this board, this magnificent piece of poplar is now mine.
Buys single piece of plank, puts it in plastic bag, doesn't hold the plastic bag. Look, I'm so manly. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. It's so sad. It's the saddest thing, dude. You ever make the libs cry by buying one piece of wood? One singular piece. Oh. What do you think he did with the wood when the camera turned off? You think he kept it or he threw it away and returned it? I think he just gave it to one of his assistants and said, ew, I can't believe I even touched that. Get me out of this fucking poor area.
The real question in all of this is how Americans respond. So Taylor Lorenz, we talked about her yesterday. She is a psychotic former reporter for the Washington Post and the New York Times. She's totally insane. She was insane on COVID. She was insane when it came to the supposed predations of people on the right who ought to, she said, be shut out of media, and particularly social media. Well, now she is full-scale rallying in favor of the murderer. So she tweeted yesterday on Blue
Taylor Lorenz, let's go.
Sky, which is a weird left-wing echo chamber form of Twitter. There was a
Again, this is like another like dumb criticism of like, for example, in this instance, Blue Sky, where they're like, you guys want to make your dumb echo chamber version of Twitter. It's like, you guys are also the same people that every time when we say, hey, these places should be more inclusive, you tell us to go fuck ourselves and make our own. We go make our own spaces, and you're like, I can't believe you guys all went to this echo chamber of your own. Like, what do you people want, dude? What do you fucking want? You're just never happy. You're just never, ever happy.
post put out by Blue Cross Blue Shield all about whether it was going to pay for anesthesia under its healthcare coverage. And she then tweeted out, quote, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. So openly cheering the death of Brian Thompson. That wasn't her only post. Somebody put out a statement saying, quote, legislation idea, healthcare executives and their families must be on the cheapest plan their company offers, and they aren't allowed to seek other care. And she wrote in all capital letters, endorse. Then she put out a post that showed a graphic of a happy star, like a star with a happy face and balloons, and the
CEO
caption,
down.
CEO down. And she wrote, woke up to see this spammed in my group chats. And she said, I am not
She's in some good group chats.
alone, that other people were doing the same thing. Then she reposted a post from left-wing agitator Ken Klippenstein saying, today we remember the legacy of United.
Freedom of speech. I like edgy comedy. Stop being so triggered. No, stop being mean to the CEO. No. Only we're allowed to be mean when people die, like George Floyd. Then we can make fun of him. That's okay, because he's a minority, so it's okay. Why are you being mean to the billionaire? It's so sad. Anyways, I'm a free speech absolutist, by the way.
Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And what exactly was that legacy? The claim denial rates by insurance companies. And of course, it's not just Taylor Lorenz. Socialist Nathan Robinson, a complete useless leech on the ass of society, posted himself, quote, live your life in such...
Talking about like leeches on society as Ben Shapiro is so good. It's just, it's so rich. That irony is just so rich. But literally this, dark humor dudes when it's about a CEO and not minorities. No, you can't do that. Stop it.
such a way that people will be sad when you die. That was above a screen cap of a New York Times headline that said, torrent of hate for health insurance industry follows CEO's killing. That piece from the New York Times is all about people who apparently were perfectly fine with the murder of Brian Thompson on the streets of New York City.
Did you notice how like other people die and people don't cheer about their deaths? Like, did you notice how when someone like not a total piece of shit dies, people don't cheer about it? Did you notice that? It's almost like your actions on Earth have an impact on how people will treat you when you die. Huh. Weird how that works, right? People didn't even talk this much shit when Kissinger died. Yeah. I personally don't know how you get through watching this rhetoric. I think it's like when it's Ben Shapiro, it's almost a little funny. Because like I no part of me takes him seriously at all. Aren't these also the same people that love to say play stupid games, win stupid prizes? Yeah.
According to the New York Times, none of this stopped social media commentators from leaping to conclusions and showing a blatant lack of sympathy over the death of a man who is a husband and father of 2 children. Thoughts and deductibles to the family, read one comment underneath a video of the shooting posted online by CNN. Unfortunately, my condolences are out of network.
They spent the past year putting Daniel Penny as a hero and doing vigilante justice. That's what they did for Kyle Rittenhouse. They literally painted him as a hero trying to protect towns for killing random fucking civilians. Like, didn't they also say it'll be bloodless if the left allows it to be? Or I think it's if the left doesn't allow it to be or something like that, yeah.
A TikTok user wrote, quote, I'm an ER nurse, and the things I've seen dying patients get denied for by insurance, it makes me physically sick. I just can't feel sympathy for him because of all those patients and their families. And these sorts of messages were incredibly common across the internet.
That wasn't even mean. That wasn't even a mean statement. That was actually just like that was a very reasonable one.
We discussed yesterday a Columbia professor who wrote something very similar. Unfortunately, bubbling under the surface of all this is something very serious, really serious. What is that serious thing? The revolutionary left is creeping into the mainstream. Yesterday, we talked about liberals versus the left. Liberals are people who disagree with me on public policy, but aren't in favor of, the murder of their opponents. The left is a different thing. The shooting of Thompson has unleashed a wave of evil from members of the left. Thompson was not a criminal. He wasn't even an advocate of death, the way, for example, abortion or euthanasia advocates are. And by the way, murdering an abortionist or an advocate of euthanasia would be unjustifiable morally.
It was the left. It's incredible. I have no words. Just no words at all. Just everything I don't like is woke and also the left. Okay. Excellent.
In a democratic system. Brian Thompson's great sin, according to these people, is that he was the head of a company that exists within a mixed private-public healthcare framework, and that he did his job.
Oh, yes. And what was his job? Ben, don't be coy. Ben, what was his job? States' rights to what? They were defending the states' rights to do what? What was it? What was the job that he was doing? Come on, Benny. Come on, Benny boy. Tell me. Tell me what it was. Tell me. You're not going to suggest that the Nazis were just following orders, right? They were just doing their job. You would never suggest that. Surely never that defense. Yes?
Because that's how health insurance actually works. Some things are covered and some things are not. And you may not like the application of the coverage, and it may be bad. That is not an excuse for murder. But for the left, if you hate the system, you are morally justified in murdering anyone who acts within the system. That means that if, like one Bernie Sanders follower did, you believe that private healthcare kills Americans, you can go around murdering Congress people. I know we buried that one. The media pretended it never happened. Steve Scalise is still limping today because he was nearly shot to death by a Bernie Sanders fan who believed that being part of the quote-unquote system that didn't nationalize healthcare meant you were a murderer. This stuff means that if you don't like that health insurers often deny coverage for certain pre-existing conditions or non-covered doctors or medication, you can then murder the CEO of a health insurance company. This is revolutionary leftist evil.
I don't even know who this is for. Like, Ben Shapiro's own audience is not going to it's not going to resonate with his audience. This message is not going to resonate with his audience. His audience has experienced the dog shit that is our healthcare system. There's no one that will support this. This is just stupid. This is just dumb. I just don't understand. Like, but the problem with Twitter is that there's a bunch of bot accounts that try and like fucking make money on the website by spamming the replies. So I don't even know how many of these are fucking bots. I would have to go on his YouTube channel to see. Twitter is not going to be accurate. Twitter, it'll be like a video of like a cat jumping, and they'll be like, in this really cool video, there's a cat jumping. Loved it. Yeah.
Well, folks, we have updates in the search.
Yeah, look at the comments on this video. This one is like a 20-minute version of this video. The full video is 40 minutes, I guess. I wish I could find the exact timestamp of where I'm at, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Look at this. This is the same video, seemingly, I think, because he pulls up the CEO down. It's from 2 hours ago. And look at his comments. Look. Sorry, Ben Shapiro. It's not just the left. Violence is tragic, but I'm sorry, Ben. Predatory practices aren't just okay since they're legal. This is not a partisan issue. I don't know why you keep trying to push this as a left issue. It's clearly across the board. Same as other people here. I don't celebrate the man's murder, but the practices of some insurance companies are just plain evil. A friend of mine is battling through cancer, and while a long shot, chemo is his only possibility right now, other than death. And his insurance denied the claim, citing that chemo shows low efficiency on the cancer he has. I mean, it's either that or death, and he has had health. I don't know if it cut off or he just gave up on this sentence. We would build a statue of the shooter if we knew what he looked like. I know, I saw this obscure leftist. I'll show it again in a sec, just in case people haven't seen it. Here we go again, Ben. You couldn't be more wrong. I would never shoot anyone, but I don't have to feel bad about a CEO who runs an insurance company that overwhelmingly denies legitimate claims through a strategy that is designed to take money from paying customers and not provide the purchase benefits. Your argument is that anyone who does so is anti-capitalist. I'm a capitalist, and if I have a vendor who takes my money and doesn't deliver, I have every right to be angry. That is UHC, and that's Brian Thompson. They aren't capitalists. They aren't capitalists. They are mobsters who never pay for the services they collect money to provide. People tried to be reasonable, and all that happened was that they went bankrupt while those CEOs made millions or billions. Reasonable just got them ignored, dead, or bankrupt and living a miserable life. By their own example, not all lives are valued the same way, and he was on the receiving end of someone who valued life differently from the insurance company. Just as an FYI, that particular company denied a third of all claims. Blah, blah, blah. You're embarrassing yourself putting it all on the left. Oh, I guess the second segment of this is about something else. I'm on the right and I feel no sympathy for this guy. What's the reply to this? Same. The citizens are done with greedy, corrupt people, right? Nobody should endorse murder of a corrupt CEO we're extorted to pay money to, but that doesn't mean we have to care or worry about it. What is he doing? What is Ben doing? What is Ben doing? His own audience is not about this. There's no one that is defending the fucking poor widow CEO. The poor widow CEO. This is the most base that the comment section of a Ben Shapiro video will ever be. You can barely tell the comment section apart anywhere from the Young Turks, Jimmy Dore, CNN, Tim Pool, Fox News, and even Ben's. This is not a partisan issue. Guy made a lot of people, their children, and their parents suffer. My father lost his battle with lung cancer, and I'll tell you without a doubt that insurance companies are on cancer's side. And it's every comment. It's every single comment. Not celebrating, ... but definitely not grieving. I'm convinced that MAGA voters are just diehard leftists tricked into being mad at the wrong people. Yes, correct. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely, absolutely correct. They just don't understand that they're being absolutely fucking lied to and propagandized into believing some other stupid shit that's not true. They think that it's the left that's targeting them, and it's not. It's the same people that they're mad at here. It's that people haven't had these personal experiences, so they don't understand. Everybody, I would say 99.999% of the American population has had bad experiences with insurance, has either watched someone get very ill, or has watched someone get worse, or has watched someone die, or has personally been denied time and time again by their insurance company or their insurance provider, or has lost their insurance. So all of these people, because they've had this personal experience, they understand what you're not going to trick me into thinking that this is the left. No, you fucking no. This is very clearly these pieces of shit. I know I had to call them 100 times to try and get them to approve my fucking chemotherapy. The problem is when it comes to other things where the person at fault isn't as clear, it's a lot easier to propagandize those people, right? So why your wages are low. It's a lot easier to propagandize those people into thinking that the wages are low because of immigrants. Because they already believe in a capitalist society where your boss is allowed to abuse you and take your fucking excess labor, your labor value surplus. Right?